Hey there, Fellowship family. Welcome to your one-stop shop for all things church life. I'm Mark Francis, once again, your host for today. We have a special episode today where we get a chance to talk about things happening in a couple of months, but we have some special guests with us, and to hear about what's happening in the summertime, I'm going to introduce you guys. So first, to my right, if you all are watching, it's to your left. This is Emma Kate Culler. You are the Student Ministries Associate Director here at FBC.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Everyone has a big, long title around here. So, and nobody really knows what it is or what it means. You just do all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
which is great.
Exactly.
Well, I'm excited to hear from you. And before I talk to you a little bit, Emma, I'm going to turn over here because I have Garrett Brackbill and Morgan Sutphin with us as well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing good.
Good. You are students here. And you are what grades?
Both are seniors.
Yeah.
Both seniors.
Yeah, both grades.
Awesome. Well, you have been nominated to be in the hot seat today. I'm excited about this because we want to hear about how all of this is going to tell a story of what the church can do to pray for you guys and support you guys. But Emma Kate, I'll turn to you first. Just we're going to talk about a trip to Africa, to Zambia, here coming up this summer. Give us a little bit of background behind the scenes of how God has led students and you and a few other adults to go on a missions trip to Zambia. Give us the background.
Yeah, so it is typical every year for the youth group to go on a mission trip in the summer. The past couple years, we have had the opportunity to go to Indian Bible College out in Arizona, and really we don't just draw these locations out of a hat. We actually work very closely with Scott McManigal and Jim Poole and say, how can we best support you in what you guys are doing? How can we go help build relationships? Where is there a need for us to go and serve? And so for the past years, it's been building that relationship with the Native Americans out in Arizona. But this year, Bernadette and Michael Boone, who are missionaries to Zambia that we partner with, came to them and said, hey, we think it would be really great if you guys could send a team of youth specifically to talk to youth leaders in Zambia. They are noticing in Zambia that the youth are kind of being forgotten and left out of the church. And so Michael and Bernadette really have a passion and want these kids to come to know Jesus. And so they want us to come and kind of talk to youth leaders and just run a little conference for them to say, this is really important to invest in the youth and really to encourage those who are working with the youth to continue to do the work and even bring more in to work with the youth there.
Interesting. So it seems like that you guys are going to talk to actual adults. So our students and some of our adult leadership are going over there to speak to their youth leaders.
Yes.
And to hopefully encourage them and to train them and equip them. Have you gotten, tell us about, because Michael and Bernadette Boone, that we've been partners with them for a while. Have you gotten a chance to talk with them over the phone or Zoom or something like that over the last couple of months?
Yeah, so Michael and Bernadette were actually here a couple months ago. So we all sat down around the table in the admin wing, and we're like, okay, how can we best serve? What is your guys' vision? So that's where they really laid out this conference for us. And we were like, yep, we feel like with the students that we have, the adult leaders that we have, like this would be a really good fit. And so we had that meeting, and then Bernadette and I correspond frequently. She and I just talked on the phone last week in planning. And then a couple of weeks ago for one of our missions meeting, they actually Zoomed in so that they could meet everybody who was going on the trip. Yeah.
Neat. Yeah. So just give us the quick summary of the dates. Like, when are you guys going, and how many people are going on this trip?
Yeah, so there is a total of... I know the numbers. I just had to type it out this week. Numbers aren't my strong suit, but there's 19 of us going, I believe. And that includes students and adults, plus Scott, Jim, and Annette McManigal are also going with us. So 19 of us, and then we leave July 11th, and so we will be gone all the way through. We come home July 24th in the morning. So we're going to, the trip actually is really two separate conferences that we're going to do. So the first part of our trip is what I already talked about, which is the conference for the youth leaders. But then, because Scott and Jim are going the second part of our trip, they are hosting an African leadership summit over there. So they are going to go and host that, and so we get to go and then be a part of that and witness what they do, help serve in whatever way they have for us. So it's really two different conferences that we get to be a part of.
It's a real collaboration with our global missions program with Scott and Jim attending as well.
Yes.
And I know you were on the stage for the fellowship family meeting several weeks ago. And Jim alluded to that a little bit of the collaboration, the partnership of student ministries and global missions over the years.
Right.
It's kind of neat where you got to get a chance to see them in action as well and have them support you.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And it's also, this trip is designed for high school students, and we have a lot of seniors going. So they are launching now into adulthood. And so now they get to be like, okay, this is what I can still continue to do. This is something that FBC is a part of global missions, and I can still be a part of it even after I graduate, no longer in the youth program.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you guys are seniors. So exactly what Emma Kate's talking about, of this kind of launching you into adulthood, if you want to call it that. Give us a little bit of your background. Morgan, I'll start with you. Tell us how long you've been coming to Fellowship Bible Church, and just give us a little bit of your testimony of how you really came to faith in Christ.
Yeah, so I've been coming to FBC since like the day I was born. My parents, Mark and Courtney, I'm sure a lot of people know. So I've been raised in the church. Grew up coming to like VBSs and stuff like that, and that's where I came to faith. Was one VBS, I remember Pastor Charlie coming up and being like, everyone was so excited for the kids that were accepting Christ, so I didn't fully understand what it was, but I just remember like how excited they were, so I was like, oh, I want to do that too. So I accepted Christ like myself that night, but didn't really understand. So then over the years, I've just grown in my own faith. When I was 9, Isaiah Truman, their family, going through all that, that helped me, like showed me that God really is who he says he is. And then going into high school, COVID, all that, growing up through that time, I don't know, like just being home alone all the time, I chose to go to God and spend my time listening to worship music, playing guitar, piano, listening to sermons, and so I've really made my faith my own over the past few years.
That's neat to hear. And again, your testimony, I love how it isn't just, here's my moment of faith, and then that's it. There's this progressive growth that goes on, and part of that is through church, but it's part of it what happens in the home, and then part of like you're internalizing it, making it your own. I love that. Garrett, tell us about you. How long have you been coming to Fellowship Bible Church, and what's your story?
Yeah, so I've been coming to Fellowship Bible Church for probably about 2 years now, I would say. And I became a believer back probably whenever I was about 10 years old. I was at Ignite conference down at Liberty University. And just, I felt it moving on my heart. And, I asked God to, come into my heart and believed in just, it's, similar to what Morgan was saying, I had my faith, but making it, your faith, and as, times went on with, relationships in early high school and just friends and stuff like that, I was left pretty low, you know what I mean? And so, turning to God and getting plugged in through, now looking back, all of what God provided for me, the people he brought into my life, like Morgan and Barry and Suze and all those people that just helped me to grow in my faith so much. I've just been so thankful for, and they've really poured into me.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like how you're emphasizing the discipleship component, how people are coming alongside of you to allow you to grow.
Yeah.
And that's part of what student ministries is all about, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you guys have the opportunity to have adults pour into the lives of kids, but then students are doing that with each other too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I think, Morgan, I saw on Instagram a while ago, a student who has graduated and gone to college, but was a part of your small group. She recently came back into town, and so you guys were able to get together and, again, have her pour into you guys. And so it's just so awesome to see it continue even past youth group.
Well, when you hear about a trip like this, is that something that excites you? And tell us about that process of, when Emma Kate and Caleb probably came to you guys and to the whole the whole group probably and said, hey, we're going to be doing this. What made you say, yeah, I'm going to raise my hand, I want to go?
Yeah, so last year I went on the Vinyl Havens mission trip to Vinyl Haven, Maine, and it was like kind of like a step out in faith there. Like I'd never done really any outreach before or anything like that, but with that VBS that we put on there, just being able to share the gospel and pour into those kids, it was just something that my heart really felt at peace about, that the Lord was really working in me through, and I was really hoping this year that there would be another mission trip that I could take part in. Whenever I heard it was an international mission trip, definitely praying about it, and that's big. I've never been out of the country before or anything like that, but I know that the Lord's going to work what he wants on my heart, and I can't wait to serve. I'm so excited about it. It's going to
cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Morgan, how about you?
Yeah, so I've also have a heart for missions. Went to Vinyl Haven last year. That was a lot of fun. But I've also always wanted to do international missions, especially Africa, because I also would love to go to a third world country, because I think it's important for us to go to be a light for Christ there. But I also think it's just as important for us, because it's a very humbling experience, and we'll learn just as much as they're going to learn from us. So I'm just really excited that we can go and grow as a team and grow individually, but also be a light to Christ for the adults there and the youth, and hopefully spark something in them that will continue even after we're there.
Yeah, kind of what you're alluding to is what you're hoping to see. I mean, you've been talking to the group about this, meeting together regularly, planning this already. What do you expect is going to happen? Walk us through kind of Emma Kate already did a little bit, but the day-by-day plans of what you guys are hoping to accomplish in these conferences there.
Yeah, so we're going to be flying into Lusaka, and then we're going to be going to Monza first. So I think that's the first village we'll be at, and that's where Michael and Bernadette, where they're going to be, or where we're going to be putting on the youth pastor conference type thing. So we have the curriculum.
Creation to Christ.
Creation to Christ, Creation to Christ. And so we're going to be teaching the first 3 lessons of that. So we're going to be kind of walking through that, and it's like a bridge leading into what Michael and Bernadette are going to be teaching the whole book, the whole curriculum to the people that are wanting to become those youth pastors or there in Zambia. So just being able to get them interested and also show them the importance of why youth is so important to target at a young age, starting your faith young.
Creation of Christ is just a booklet that's even in the mission stairwell here at FBC. Is that something that you guys go through as a group and a team? So in order to help lead it, you have to have gone through it.
Right? Exactly.
So walk us through that process of what's going on here.
Yeah, so every member of the team has that booklet. And so our last Sunday meeting, Scott actually gave us an overview, the meta-narrative of the gospel. So really kind of almost the prequel to Creation to Christ, or not necessarily the prequel, the whole big 40,000-foot picture. So we had the opportunity to hear that. So what I'm doing to help make sure we can understand it, because you have to be able to understand it in order to teach it, is we send out reviews. That way the people going on the trip can sit down and really process, okay, what am I learning? And so we'll continue to do that with the subsequent Creation to Christ. So it's something that they're doing on their own, but we're also going to come together in our meetings before we go to discuss as well.
Okay. Morgan, what are you expecting to actually be doing yourself when you're there? Is everyone going to be teaching? Is there going to be a component of collaboration? How have you guys been assigning who's doing what when you're there?
Yeah, so nothing's been assigned yet, but we all have an idea of what's going to be happening. We're going to have people doing worship, skits, teaching, help teach them how to do games without equipment. So I will be bringing my guitar, and me and Bria Mayo will be help leading worship. But there will be also other opportunities for teaching, helping with different stations that I'm hoping to also do. Yeah. So just wherever we're needed.
So I think I'm just hearing that part of the benefit of having you guys be here is to see some of the fruits of youth and student ministries of where Michael and Bernadette can see, okay, if they have a heart and passion for kids in their church and in their areas, that you want to pour into them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so here's some examples of kids who are now leading these studies,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
is that part of where their hope and goal is of you guys attending?
Yeah, absolutely. To show that, just because there's a verse in Second Timothy that Paul, or First Timothy, that says like, don't let anyone despise you for your age. And so by having these students come who are considered youth and say, hey, look, the Lord uses us no matter regardless of our age. And so having them be able to come and be used of the Lord is going to be great for that.
So that's the first half. And then the second half is you get a chance to see our global missions guys in action where they're going to be teaching. So you kind of turn over that component of the teaching a conference to them.
Right.
Walk us through kind of what your expectations are for that.
Yeah, so that will be a lot less hands-on for us. Will be more kind of almost relationship building. We will sit in on the teaching sessions, and really they'll do breakout groups. So the girls will go with the women who are there, the guys will go with the men, and as we'll just be a part of like the discussion and a part of the global church in action, wrestling through like the lessons and the theology that is being taught. And of course we'll be there to serve and help run logistics and whatever they need us. But our main part in that at this point is just participating with the African leaders who are there.
Yeah, cool. So you guys have been meeting together regularly, I'm assuming praying and figuring out, okay, what does God have for you in this moment? What can you pass on to FBC, to the church at large, of how can they pray for you guys to prepare for this trip?
Yeah. Like the preparation of our hearts, just to be servants in everything that we do. Definitely expect change and be very flexible with it. But yeah, really just being servants to whatever He's calling us into, because it's nothing's exact yet, and I'm sure a bunch of stuff will be changing. As we're going through stuff. So yeah, definitely flexibility.
Yeah, Morgan.
Preparation for our hearts, and also preparation for the hearts of the people we'll be serving, because we want them to receive what we're coming with, and we want this to go further than just while we're there. We want this to be a lasting thing. And then also safety for there.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done the research about Zambia. Have you? I mean, what kind of dangers are there as far as potential things to pray for with Africa and the culture there?
I mean, we're going into a developing country, so there's always risk. But Zambia is one of the few countries in Africa that has a pretty stable government, and they actually haven't had any civil wars.
Good.
So they're very stable in that regard. Still a lot of poverty. Electricity is going to be a little bit iffy for part of our time, maybe even like Wi-Fi and stuff. So I think a concern is not being able to communicate with home might not be a regular option. So just for the families and the parents that we're leaving behind, just like being able to trust when that communication isn't able, like trust that the Lord's got it.
Pray for your parents too, right? That they can rest and be like, okay, kids are in God's hands right now, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, this trip sounds amazing, and you guys raised your hand and signed up and said, yes, I want to go, but I'm not sure if FBC is fully funding everything about this. So what kind of needs do you have, especially from a financial standpoint, to be able to go?
I'm not sure what the numbers are exactly, but I know FBC so far has raised over half of our costs.
Yeah, that's right where we're at. Yeah. Yes.
So we almost need helpful. There's a little bit of that. So you have halfway to go between now and probably June or July. Before you have to go, you got to know it's getting paid for.
Yes.
So what kind of support methods have you guys been reaching out to the church asking for?
Definitely a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer for us, just praying for that we would be getting more funding in, and then also I've been reaching out to family and stuff like that. That definitely that isn't at the church and stuff like that.
Ballpark, how much per person is it?
I mean, it's not a cheap trip, so roughly $3,500 per person to go on this.
Okay.
So and that includes airfare, transportation, that includes visa, all that stuff while we're there.
So how can somebody watching or listening say, man, it'd be really cool to help, give a scholarship amount of something for one of these students?
Yeah.
what opportunities are there for somebody to kind of give above and beyond the standard giving here at FBC?
Right. So if they give online, and one of the drop-down options is specifically for the Zambia trip, and then even just if they would feel compelled to, like the Lord is leading them to send in a check or cash, if they just want to make a note that is for the Zambia trip, that would be so incredible. We have received gifts, and we are just so thankful already for what how generous this family is in their donations.
Well, halfway, I feel like we almost need to make like a little thermometer or something somewhere in the student ministries area in the wing, just to kind of say we're climbing the thermometer there to hit that goal. It's exciting. It's exciting to know that like this is like a big major trip. This is going halfway around the world, and a bunch of guys are going to grow together, serve together, and learn a lot about God, a lot about each other, and what God is doing around the world. That's exciting to say, okay, we get a chance to participate in that. I know, Morgan, before we started recording, you were talking about kind of your heart for missions, and you mentioned that a little bit. What do you really hope to take away from this trip at the end and launch you post high school?
Yeah. This trip I'm really hoping will just further my heart for wanting to do missions. I don't think I would want to do like full-time missions when I grow up, but definitely I want that to be a big part of my life. After this year, I'm hoping to do a missions program through a gap year. So I think this will be like 2 weeks. We'll get back, and 2 weeks later I'll leave for that gap year. So this will be almost launch into that, and I'm really excited for that.
Garrett, what about you? What are your hopes out of when you come home from this trip?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just like whatever the Lord wants to do in my heart while we're there. I really hope He's just changing me in the ways that I look more like Him. And then also, I'm about to sign up for Youth with a Mission gap year type thing. So just really, it's going to be going into that with like Bible courses going in for like 12 for 14 weeks, and then going to be doing an outreach for 2 or 3 months. So like a type missions trip. So yeah, really just preparing hard for that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here, and you're kind of the representatives of the others who are attending as well, being a voice to share with the church what's happening. Emma Kate, any final thoughts? Any other kind of takeaway things that we might have missed here in our conversation?
I think we covered it all. What I will have to say is the students going on this trip are so committed. They're showing up to the meetings. They are texting me saying, hey, what if I serve in this way? Or can we do this while we're there? Can we do that? And so that, just watching their heart and the Lord use them to want to serve has just been such an encouragement for me and the adult leaders going on the trip. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, just as you mentioned, just reach out to the church office, contact you, anybody, if you're looking to help participate by just giving in that way. And obviously participate through prayers and praying for the students, for the adults going, praying for the parents being left behind, that they can have peace and comfort as well, and that God is glorified through this entire trip. Well, once again, thank you guys for being here. Continue to keep us posted for everybody watching and listening of kind of other stories that might be going around the church. We love to hear from you guys, coming off the heels of our Building Bridges focus. This is just an example of building bridges, not just in our community, but around the world. We want to hear what God is doing in your life as well. So continue to share this episode and this particular podcast with your friends, really wherever they watch or listen. And guys, thank you. This is really exciting to have you be a part of this conversation. So really, until we chat again, let's let Christ be the focus of our lives each and every day.